E4S. Welcome and thanks for joining me for the second episode of our video series on student job hunting. Here at Employment for Students we have years of experience helping more than 18 million school, college and university students find part-time work, holiday jobs, internships, year-out opportunities and graduate jobs. Today I'm going to guide you through some CV tips. Now, I gave an overview of CVs in the last episode, so today I'm going to go into a little more detail with tips on how it should look, what you need to include, and how to make it compelling for employers. Let's start by recapping on what a CV is. It's basically a sales document that should sell you to prospective employers. It summarises your educational and work-related skills, experience, qualifications and achievements, which should hopefully sell you as a great potential employee. I have an example CV here so I can show you what it should look like and what information it should contain. Let's take a look now. So, what section should you include in your CV and what information goes in each? Well, let's run through each of them now. Right at the top here, nice and prominent, put your name and contact details to make it as easy as possible for an employer to contact you if they like your CV. List your name, your postal address, phone number and email address. A few tips on this section. First of all, if you study away from your hometown, then list both your term time and holiday addresses. If, for example, you're studying up in Edinburgh and you apply for a part-time job there but only list your family address on your CV, which is, say, in London, the employer is likely to think that you live the other side of the UK and won't be able to commute for the job, so they'll dismiss your application as a waste of their time. Second tip, use a sensible email address. If you have something like IHateWork@gmail, then set up a sensible one for job applications. Thirdly, you don't need to include your date of birth, but if you are applying for a job which requires a minimum age for serving alcohol or insurance reasons, for example, then either specify in your cover letter that you meet the age requirements or include the date of birth up there in your CV. And lastly on this section, nationality is not required, but it can confirm your eligibility to work in the UK if you're an EU citizen. If you're not, it could be worth detailing your visa and working entitlements in that section too. The next section is your profile and objectives. This is the most important section of your CV and needs to be hard-hitting and attention-grabbing. Summarise key achievements and experiences and sell yourself. This section could be the only part of your CV that an employer actually reads, so it needs to show them that you are the right candidate for their job. Be concise and choose your words carefully so the end result is packed with facts and specific examples of your skills and achievements rather than a bland, generic phrases which anyone could use. An example of a good profile would be something like this one. A motivated, hard-working and reliable undergraduate with 300 UCAS points, on track to achieve a 2-1 BSc in Business Studies with 2 years sales and customer service experience. Now there are lots of specific interest-grabbing points in there rather than generic buzzwords. If you are applying for multiple jobs, which are very different, like part-time bar jobs on the one hand and marketing internships on the other, then consider creating 2 CVs with a different profile section in each. For the bar jobs, you would focus on customer service skills and previous hospitality experience, whereas for the marketing internship, you would mention relevant marketing course modules, for example, and express your desire to put your course theory into practice in a business environment, Also, don't forget to write a cover letter for each job application, which flags up the skills and experience from your CV relevant to the job you're applying for, as well as confirming that you meet the entry and availability requirements. The next section is your education and qualifications. This section should have more prominence and detail on a student's CV than it would on someone who finished studying years ago and has lots of work experience. So start with your most recent studies and work your way backwards. For each, provide details of the institution, the dates you studied there, the courses taken and grades achieved. You can also add details of key modules and grades for specific pieces of work where relevant, such as a dissertation distinction, for example. For school or college, list A-level subjects and the grades, and provide a summary of GCSE grades highlighting core subjects taken, such as maths, English, languages or sciences. Also provide details of any other qualifications, such as first aid, food hygiene, sports coaching qualifications, SIA licence, NBQs, and also CRB or DBS checks. The key skills section should highlight your other skills, such as IT programming or software skills, languages and driving licence. It can also help your CV appear in employer CV searches, so be specific rather than just saying good IT skills. Use program or software names, for example, to make sure you get found when employers search for people with those specific skills. If you have some previous work experience, then here is the place to add it. Once you've finished studying and have been working for a while, your work experience should be moved up above your education because it's more important. But while your main focus is on studying, list your work experience a little lower down. If you don't have any work experience, then leave the section out, but make sure you compensate by providing more information in the other sections about anything that can demonstrate key employability skills, such as teamwork, communication, leadership, initiative, responsibility, and time management. Once you have some work experience, put the most recent first and work backwards. For each period of employment, provide the dates of employment, job title, and company name. Then give details of your achievements and skills, rather than a list of tasks. For example, if you've worked in a retail sales role, then provide details of your performance against targets. If you've done bar work, then don't list your duties. Mention your teamwork and ability to manage unruly customers. The interests and activities section is a chance to show that you are a well-rounded individual. The key to making this section an asset on your CV is to demonstrate soft skills that can be transferred to the workplace, like teamwork, leadership, and good organisation. Rather than just listing some sports and music, for example, say something like, I enjoy team sports such as football and hockey, and captained the university first 11 football team. I also have grade 3 piano, which requires dedication and self-discipline. That way you're highlighting the teamwork and leadership skills you've developed through these activities, as well as hard work and self-discipline, all of which are attractive qualities for employers. Travel experience can also be good to include, especially if you draw attention to any extensive planning and organisation you did, or the completion of a challenging expedition. This section can help make you stand out if you have something memorable to say, and it can also provide an interesting talking point at an interview. The final section is references. References do not actually need to be included on a CV, so most people tend to state references available on request. But if you are invited to interview, then you need to have referees in place who are willing to provide you with a reference. You will generally need two. One can be an academic one, and ideally one is a previous employer. A reference can be included on a CV, and a succinct positive reference can be very effective. Let's finish up with a few things that you should not include in your CV. Number one, lies. They will most likely come back to bite you, so don't do it. You are likely to be found out at some point, and that can make it tough to get another job in the future. And just so you know, if you lie on a job application form, you can be instantly dismissed. Number two, spelling and grammatical errors. Poor grammar and spelling mistakes will cost you interviews, so check your CV thoroughly before sending it to anyone. Don't rely on spell check. Autocomplete can correct typos into the wrong word, and spell check will not pick up errors like writing from instead of form. I suggest you read your CV backwards from the last word to the first, because it is more effective at picking up errors than reading it through normally. And number three, don't include a photo unless you are specifically asked to by an employer. So, the key takeaways from today are: 1. Make your CV easy to read and open electronically by using a good template, simple fonts and a common file format. Number 2. Be honest about your skills and achievements, but present them in a way that sells you as a great employee. Number 3. Make sure your soft skills, such as good communication, teamwork and leadership, shine through, as well as hard skills like qualifications. Number 4. Don't panic if you don't have any previous work experience. Just compensate by focusing on the soft skills you have developed from other activities and experiences in your life. And number 5. Check your CV through thoroughly for mistakes and ask someone else to check it for you, preferably a professional like a careers advisor or CV company. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for joining me, and be sure to tune in next week for some great interview advice. The last episode in our student job hunting series is going to be a Q&A, so please send us your questions so we can put them in the hat. You can post your questions below or via Twitter at E4S UK, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/employment for students, or email them to studentsupport@e4s.co.uk. In the meantime, check out our website www.e4s.co.uk for loads of job hunting tips and a great selection of student jobs. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week.